Hello everybody, my name is Sinvicta and welcome to another Diablo 4 video here on the Sinvicta Gaming channel. And as you can tell by the thumbnail as well as the title of the video, I wanted to share this really amazing spot that I've been farming for the last couple of days now in the full release of the game. And if you're like me, you're probably needing a lot of gold and a lot of salvage material to upgrade those rare weapons and imprint those aspects and get them into legendary status. And you're probably running out of materials. Well, this spot not only has a ton of gold for you, but it's also going to be dropping tons and tons of legendaries that you can go salvage at the blacksmith, so you can get those upgrades that you need to push higher tier content in the game. And of course, if you do enjoy this video and you want to see more Diablo 4 content, then make sure you leave a like, post a comment down below. Let me know if you've been farming this spot or other spots you want to share with the community, as well as subscribe if you're not already here to my gaming channel. Now let's get into it. I'll show you exactly where this spot is. Some of you probably already know it, but in case you don't, this is going to be the Champion's Demise dungeon over and located in the Dry Steppes. It's really easily traversable too. All you have to do is simply teleport to the Durandai waypoint and just run over. It takes maybe 10 seconds if you have a horse, and you can go in. I should mention really quickly that this method works on any difficulty in the game. I'm doing this on World Tier 3 because I think this is probably the most typical scenario that most players are going to be finding themselves whenever they do look for this sort of guide video on YouTube. And I wanted to do this just to kind of show off that I do actually farm this on World Tier 3. Sometimes I do it on 4, but it can get a little bit dangerous, and it's a little bit less time effective rather than just simply running it on World Tier 3. So the deal with this place is when you get in here, there's going to be one quest that you have to do, and it's return the stone carvings to the pedestal. Do not do this. Don't do any part of this, otherwise the reset may not work. And that's the big thing about this dungeon, is that it can be very easily resettable, and I'm going to show you how to do that after we run through this. So basically all you do, or at least all I do anyway, when I come up here, the map stays totally the same every single time you go in. You simply just run up to the corners of any of these paths, and eventually when you get to the dead end, you're just going to turn around and fight. Or as you just saw right there, I usually wait until I get webbed or something like that by the spiders, and then I'll just go around and start hammering everything, and then that's that. Now, admittedly, I don't have a really good speed farming build. I'm just running my Hodakota build that you all saw me do a video on a couple of days ago, and this works just fine, but any build can really work with this. And as you see here, it's just a ton of gold just dropping out of every single mob, and it's so good. The monster pack density is actually phenomenal in here, and that's one of the main reasons why I farm this, is just because there's so many monsters that you can actually run up and group together, and they will not leash either. So all you have to do is simply walk up to this corner, and this is already almost one half of the dungeon done. You can usually typically get this done in about maybe 5 minutes. If you have a speed farming build, I'm sure other builds and other specs can do this much faster, especially classes like Sorcerer or maybe even Rogue. But I've got my Barbarian, and the Barbarian runs just totally fine. And I'm simply going to go over here to the first waypoint to get the stone carving, and then you just simply run down. Now, there's also a pretty good chance that you find resplendent chests in here, and there's at least one, sometimes if not two, shrines that you're actually able to do. Those will work, and it's usually pretty good to do so, obviously, but sometimes the shrines can actually be the cursed shrine event, and you don't want to do these, in my opinion. I think it's just a waste of time. It just slows you down when you could just be resetting the dungeon and then doing another run. All for the sake of a shrine. You know, even a conduit shrine, it's really not worth doing, in my opinion. So that was the first half of the dungeon, by the way, and now we're just going to run down here and go to the second half of the dungeon. I'm going to show you how to reset it, and then that's that. Hopefully we get a couple legendaries. Usually I gain about 2 or 3 legendaries per run, and like I said, it only takes maybe 5 minutes at most to do an entire run in this thing, so it's really fast. And again, those of you who have a much more efficient farming build than mine, and then you'll be able to do this even faster. So here you go. We got another lethal shrine. Just going to pop my cooldowns because it got slowed there. Just going to plow through everything. And again, at the time of this recording, everything is still working, the resets and everything. I don't know if Blizzard intended for you to be able to reset this dungeon so quickly, but it's very easily doable. You don't have to be in a party or anything like that. You don't have to do any sort of dungeon swapping. You don't have to do any objective farming or anything like that. You just simply run in, kill stuff, get loot, get gold, and then get out, and then do it all over again. That's what Diablo is all about for some people. So again, as you see here, none of the mobs are actually leashing. I'm just going to keep running down here. If you have any crowd control breaking effects on your build, this is a perfect time to use it. This is a perfect dungeon to do so, especially with all these spiders slowing you down and stuff. So I'm going to wait until I get rooted, which I just got rooted right there. Then we're just going to go and smash the face out of everything that we ended up taking over here. And as you can see, it's just a ton of monster density, and that's so good. And even if you don't get any legendaries, that's still actually totally fine, especially if your whole objective is just to get gold. You can actually sell. What I usually do is I usually take anything that has the sacred tag on it, and then I'll just pick that up, whether it's a weapon, whether it's armor, it doesn't matter to me, and simply just go vendor them. And it is about maybe on average about 500,000, maybe 600,000 per 2 runs, and that's assuming that you got maybe 1 or 2 legendaries that you can vendor that you don't need. Obviously, you can also use this for aspect farming, for those of you who need rings, or those who need pants or boots or weapons, anything like that. But I primarily do this for the gold, and also because I need the legendary weapons to actually salvage with the blacksmith, so I can actually start going into and upgrading my aspects and creating those awesome ancestral weapons or even sacred weapons for those of you who are still on World Tier 3. This is a great method to do so, and again, it's very, very quick and easy to do. So this is the last mob. There's maybe one more ring over here that we got to do. Not ring, but just finish off this little circle right here. And there's usually not too many elites over here, and then that will be that. So it doesn't look like we got any legendaries this time around. Oh, I'd take that back. We got 1 legendary, so no problem at all. Hey, thanks game. Thanks for at least not making this look too stupid here. So there we go. So that's it. That's the entire path right there. You just go up, and then you just go down. And then now, if you're probably wondering, how do I reset the dungeon? All you have to do is simply use the emoticon wheel and go back out to the leave dungeon selection, and then what you do from here is very, very simple to reset the dungeon, and I'll show you how to do that very quickly. You simply exit the dungeon, go over here, hit the escape or whatever the controller equivalent is, and then leave the game and go back to the character select screen. I usually wait here for about maybe 5 seconds, or I switch to another character and then go back like that. And this should put you right outside of the dungeon. Now, I have had it sometimes not put you outside of the dungeon and actually take you back to one of the random waypoints in the dry steppes. If that happens, just simply go teleport to Durandai and then go just run over here to the Champion's Demise and do it all again. This time it didn't actually take us to the waypoint. I appreciate that game. That way the video actually looks a lot better now, and we're going to go back in. I'm not going to do a whole nother run again, but I just want to show you that the reset does indeed work. So make sure you get this spot before it's nerfed, because again, I don't know if Blizzard has intended for this dungeon to actually work like this, but at the time of this recording and the time of this video going up here on YouTube, it has still not been touched by Blizzard, and it's looking like a very awesome XP farm as well as gold and legendary crafting materials that you need. So as you see here, the dungeon's totally reset, and I'll go run up here one more time just to prove that it's reset. We didn't actually get a resplendent chest that time around. Maybe we'll get one on this half. Again, this dungeon's so easy to go to. That is the Butcher. That is the Butcher. What is with the Butcher showing up in my dang videos, Butcher? All right, well, I guess we're doing this then. The Butcher's showing up out of nowhere. Okay. I mean, we are on World Tier 3, so like he's no slouch, but he's also like not too difficult for my build. Yeah, get him out of here. What is the shield? What is this shield stuff? No. So you don't understand. I'm trying to record a video here. Thank you. I don't know why the Butcher... That's a second video now that the Butcher just randomly shows up. All right, well, hey, give it a thumbs up for the Butcher, too. So as you can see here, everything has reset, and we're still getting a bunch of sacred weapons and stuff, and we got another legendary there from the Butcher just showing up again. That is hilarious. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up here so you guys and gals can see this as soon as possible. And again, if this helped you out, make sure you let me know by clicking the like button and leaving a comment down below. Let me know how much money you've been making on the spot, or if you want to share with the Mosh Pit community some other spots that you might be farming, and for me to go take a look at them, then I definitely will make a video on it. And as always, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, everyone. Stay tuned for more Diablo 4 content here on the Sinvicta Gaming channel.